The scanner beeped softly on the bridge of the human ship horizon. Captain Tae-woo Kim looked up from his coffee, tired eyes focusing on the display. They had been exploring empty space for 3 weeks, mapping star systems that nobody cared about. "What is it, Hannah?" he asked his communications officer. Lieutenant Hannah Park frowned at her screen. "I'm picking up an old distress signal, sir. Very faint. It's been repeating for months." Tae-woo walked over to her station. The signal was weak, crackling with static, but the desperation in the voice was clear even through the alien words. The ship's computer worked to translate the message. "Please, ... anyone who can hear this, ... our world is dying. The Coalition ships came 6 months ago. They said we had no rights, no protection. Our children are sick. The water turns black. We need help, please." The message cut to static, then repeated. Tae-woo felt his stomach twist. Where's this coming from? System designation Aqua, about 2 weeks away at full speed. Hannah's fingers danced over her controls. "Sir, I'm reading massive industrial activity there. Mining operations. Engineer." Jun Lee looked up from his repair work. "Mining, in a system with intelligent life." Tae-woo pulled up the star charts. Aqua 7 was marked in red, a restricted zone. "Check the Galactic Council records. What do they say about this system?" Hannah's face grew pale as she read. "The inhabitants, they call themselves Kethmori. They're water breathers, living in the oceans of the 4th planet. 6 months ago, the Hegemony Coalition filed a resource claim, and the Council ruled that since the Kethmori have no space technology, they have no legal standing. The system was declared open for development." June dropped his tools. "They can't do that. Those people are asking for help." "They can," Tae-woo said quietly. "We just joined the galactic community last year. I've seen how it works. Big powers take what they want from little ones." The distress signal kept playing. Through the static, they could hear crying in the background. Children crying. "Sir," Hannah said, "there's more. The Council sent peacekeepers to monitor the situation, but they were recalled last month. Mission complete, it says here. Mission complete." June's voice was angry. "What mission? Watching people die?" Tae-woo stared at the screen, showing the location of Aqua 7, such a small dot on the star map. Such a long way from Earth. Nobody would care if they ignored this signal. Nobody would blame them. "Captain," Hannah said softly, "we're just an exploration ship. 23 crew members. No weapons except for asteroid mining charges." "I know. The Coalition has dozens of ships there. Military vessels. And we don't have any authority in this sector." Tae-woo listened to the distress call again. The voice was female, he thought. A mother, maybe. Or a leader, trying to save her people while their world died around them. "Pulled up everything we have on the Hegemony Coalition," he said. June accessed the database. 3 species alliance. The Vorthok, the Zealands, and the Brutok. They've been expanding aggressively for 50 years. Take systems, strip them bare, move on military strength. Each species contributes ships and soldiers. Together, they have one of the largest fleets in the galaxy. The bridge fell silent, except for the repeating distress call. Tae-woo closed his eyes. He thought about his daughter, back on Earth. She was 7 years old, the same age as some of the voices he could hear crying in the background of the transmission. "Sir," Hannah asked, "what are your orders?" Tae-woo opened his eyes and looked at his crew. They were all watching him. Young faces, hopeful faces. They had joined the space service to explore new worlds, to make contact with alien civilizations, to make humanity proud among the stars. "The Galactic Council says these people have no rights," he said slowly. "The Coalition says they can take whatever they want. The peacekeepers say their job is done." He walked to the captain's chair and sat down. His hand hovered over the navigation controls. "But I say that, Listening to children cry for help while doing nothing makes us no better than the ones causing the crying. Captain, Hannah whispered, we could lose our ship. We could start a war. Yes, we could. Taewoo input the coordinates for Aqua 7. But we could also save lives. The ship's engines hummed to life. On the screen, their course shifted toward the distant system, where the Kethmori were dying. This is probably stupid, June said, but he was smiling. Definitely stupid, Hannah agreed. I'm sending a message to Earth Command, letting them know our status. Tell them we're responding to a distress call, Taewoo said, and that we're going to do what's right, even if nobody else will. The stars streaked past as the horizon jumped too faster than light speed. Behind them, Earth grew smaller. Ahead, a dying world waited for salvation from the most unlikely source of all, a single human ship with a crew crazy enough to care. The human ship Horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Aqua 7 system. Captain Taewoo Kim stared at the main screen in horror. What had once been a blue ocean world was now dark and sick-looking. Massive metal platforms floated in orbit, connected by streams of cargo ships carrying raw materials away from the planet. My God, whispered Engineer Jun Lee, look what they've done. The planet's oceans, which should have been sparkling blue, were stained brown and black. Huge mining machines worked like metal monsters on the surface, sucking up everything they could find and leaving poison behind. I'm detecting life signs, reported Lieutenant Hannah Park. But they're weak, very weak. How many coalition ships? Taewoo asked. 15 military vessels, all much bigger than us. Hannah's voice was tight with worry. Captain, if they spot us, they'll blow us out of space before we can say hello, Taewoo finished. So we don't let them spot us. He turned to his pilot. Ensign, can you get us to the planet's surface without being seen? Young pilot Daeho, you studied his controls. Maybe. The mining operations are creating a lot of interference. I could hide our ship's signal in all that noise. Do it. The Horizon began its careful descent toward the poisoned world. Taewoo watched the screens as they passed through clouds of toxic gas and metal debris. This had once been a living world. Now it looked like a dying patient. Life signs are strongest in the deep ocean, Hannah reported. About 12 kilometers down. 12 kilometers. June shook his head. Our ship wasn't built for that kind of pressure. Then we modify it, Taewoo said. We didn't come this far to give up now. It took 6 hours to prepare the ship for deep ocean diving. They sealed every door, reinforced the hull, and added extra power to the life support systems. Finally, the Horizon slipped beneath. The waves of Aqua 7's main ocean, the water around them was thick with chemicals and waste. Dead fish floated past their windows. The deeper they went, the darker it became. I'm seeing structures ahead, Daeho announced. Big ones. Through the murky water, they could make out the ruins of what had once been a beautiful underwater city. Coral formations that should have been bright with color were gray and dying. Buildings made of living reef were cracked and broken. There, Hannah pointed at her scanner. Life signs, 2 o'clock. They found the survivors huddled in what looked like an emergency shelter deep in a canyon. When the human ship's lights hit them, the aliens looked up in confusion and fear. The Kethmori were unlike anything the humans had ever seen. They were tall and graceful, with smooth skin that changed color like mood rings. Gills on their necks moved slowly as they breathed the poisoned water. Their large eyes reflected the ship's lights, like mirrors. They're beautiful, Hannah whispered. One of the Kethmori swam toward their ship. She was clearly their leader. Her skin patterns were more complex, and the others followed her movements. When she spoke, the ship's computer translated her words. What are you? Her voice was weak but curious. We have never seen beings like you before. Taewoo activated the external speakers. We are humans. We received your distress call. The alien leader's skin flickered with what might have been surprise. Humans. By you, T. The great powers of the galaxy refused to help us. The council said we were not important enough to save. We're not a great power, Tewu replied. We're just people who heard you calling for help. The Kethmori leader floated in the water, staring at their ship. Her skin patterns shifted through different colors. Confusion, hope, disbelief. I am Reef Singer Mira, she said finally. I speak for what remains of my people. I'm Captain Taewoo Kim. How many survivors do you have? 3,000? Maybe less. We lose more each day. The water kills our children first. They are too small to filter out the poison. Taewoo felt his heart break. 3,000 people. That was all that remained of an entire civilization. The coalition told us to leave our world, Myra continued. They said we could find new oceans somewhere else. But this is our home. Our ancestors sang these reefs into existence over thousands of years. How do you ask a people of the sea to become wanderers of space? You don't, Taewoo said quietly. You help them save their home. Mira's skin patterns brightened for the first time since they had found her. Help. But you are so few, and they are so many. What can you do against the coalition's mighty fleets? Taewoo looked around at his crew. Hannah was checking communication frequencies. June was already planning modifications to their equipment. Daeho was studying the ocean currents, figuring out the best hiding spots. I don't know yet, Taewoo admitted. But I promise you this, you're not alone anymore. We'll figure out something. For the first time in months, Reef Singer Mira smiled. In the deep, poisoned waters of her dying world, a spark of hope had been lit by the most unlikely source. A small ship full of humans who had traveled across the galaxy simply because someone needed help. Why? She asked. Why would you risk everything for strangers? Taewoo's answer was simple. Because it's the right thing to do. 6 weeks had passed since the humans first arrived at Aqua 7. What started as one small ship had grown into something the Hegemony Coalition never expected. 3 more human vessels had arrived, their crews volunteering for a mission their own. Government couldn't officially support. Captain Taewoo Kim floated in the underwater command center. They had built in the ruins of an old Kethmori temple. The water around him was filtered and clean, one of Engineer Jun Lee's first improvements. Through his underwater breathing mask, he watched Reef Singer Mira swim gracefully between the coral computers her people had grown. Mining platform 7 just went dark, reported Lieutenant Hannah Park through the waterproof communication system. That's the 4th one this month. War Chief Drax of the Coalition fleet slammed his fist on his command table, making his officers jump. The big alien's red skin was darker than usual, a sign of his growing anger. How is this possible? He roared. We have 15 warships, and they have what? 4 tiny exploration vessels? Yet they keep destroying our equipment. His second-in-command, a nervous Cylon with gray tentacles, checked his reports. Sir, they never fight us directly. They strike fast and disappear. Our targeting systems can't track them underwater. Then drain the oceans, Drax shouted. Sir, that would destroy the mining operation. We need the water to process the materials. Deep beneath the waves, Taewoo smiled as he listened to the intercepted Coalition communications. The enemy was frustrated, and frustrated enemies made mistakes. Team 3, report. He spoke into his communicator. Package delivered, came the voice of Specialist Bin Choi. Platform 7 won't be processing any more materials today. The humans had learned to fight like the Kethmori, striking from the deep water, where the Coalition couldn't follow. Jun Lee had modified their equipment to work underwater, while the Kethmori taught them to use the ocean currents, like highways. The next supply convoy arrives tomorrow, Myra said, her skin patterns glowing softly in the dim light. 12 cargo ships with fighter escorts. How many fighters? Asked Tae-Woo. 8. Too many for a direct attack. Taewoo studied the holographic map that June had created by combining human technology with Kethmori biocomputers. The convoy would pass through the coral gardens, a maze of reef formations that the aliens couldn't navigate safely. "We don't attack the convoy," he said slowly. "We attack what they're carrying." 2 days later, pilot Daeho, you guided his modified submarine through the narrow passages of the coral gardens. Behind him, 6 Kethmori warriors moved through the water like living torpedoes, carrying special charges that June had designed. The coalition convoy moved overhead, their heavy ships unable to follow the attackers into the reef maze. The cargo ships were loaded with equipment needed to build new mining platforms. "Target the 3rd ship," Taewoo's voice crackled through the communicator. "That's where they keep the computer cores." The Kethmori warriors moved with deadly grace. Their bioelectric weapons had been enhanced with human technology, creating hybrid tools that could disable enemy systems without triggering explosions that might harm the reef. The attack lasted less than 10 minutes. By the time the coalition fighters realized what was happening, the raiders had vanished back into the coral maze. The cargo ship's computer systems were fried, its precious equipment ruined. "Sir," the nervous Elan reported to War Chief Drax, "they've hit us again." The humans somehow taught the locals to use electromagnetic weapons. Drax studied the tactical display. Red marks showed where his forces had been attacked over the past month. The pattern made no sense to him. The humans struck mining platforms, supply convoys, communication arrays, and repair stations, but never his warships directly. "They're not trying to defeat us," he realized. "They're trying to make this operation too expensive to continue." It was working. Each destroyed platform cost millions of credits to replace. Each delayed shipment meant angry investors back home. The simple pacification mission had turned into a costly occupation. In the deep command center, Taewoo received another piece of good news. "Captain, this is Communications Officer Namjoon Park, on the Soul's Dream. We just intercepted a message from Earth Command." "What did they say?" "Officially, they know nothing about what we're doing here. Unofficially, Admiral Kang is bringing the heavy cruiser Bison's Fury with a full support fleet." Taewoo grinned. "How long until they arrive?" "2 weeks, sir." Mira swam over to him, her skin patterns bright with excitement. "More of your people are coming. Many more. And they're bringing bigger ships." "The Coalition will not expect this," Mira said. "They think humans are weak because we are new to space." "Let them think that," Taewoo replied. "It's been working for us so far." Around them, the underwater base bustled with activity. Human engineers worked alongside Kethmori biotechnicians, creating weapons and tools that neither species could have imagined alone. Children of both races played together in the filtered pools, learning each other's languages. The war for Aqua 7 was far from over, but the tide was beginning to turn. The Coalition had expected an easy victory over a primitive species. Instead, they found themselves fighting a growing alliance that struck like lightning and vanished like ghosts in 2 weeks. That alliance would become something much more dangerous, a real threat to the Coalition's plans. And War Chief Drax was beginning to realize that he might have bitten off more than he could chew. The communication screen flickered to life on the bridge of the human battleship, Bison's Fury. Admiral Myung-Kong stood straight and calm as the angry face of the Hegemony Coalition's ambassador appeared before her. Behind the Admiral, Captain Taewoo Kim watched quietly from his position near the tactical display. "Admiral Kang," the alien ambassador's voice was full of rage. "Your interference in Coalition territory ends now. You have exactly 24 hours to remove all human forces from this system." Admiral Kong's expression didn't change. She had commanded ships for 15 years and wasn't easily intimidated. "Ambassador Vex, this system contains intelligent life that asked for our help. We're simply responding to a distress call. The Kethmori have no legal rights here," Vex snarled. "The Galactic Council has ruled on this matter. You are violating interstellar law." "Whose law?" Admiral Kong asked calmly. Laws written by the strong to control the weak. The ambassador's face turned a deeper shade of purple. This is your final warning. Withdraw immediately, or face the consequences. The screen went dark. Admiral Kung turned to Taewoo. How many coalition ships are we facing now? 37 combat vessels, Taewoo replied. They've been bringing in reinforcements all week. It seems our little rebellion is making them nervous. Good. Nervous enemies make mistakes. Admiral Kang walked to the observation window, looking down at the poisoned oceans of Aqua 7. Any word from our deep-sea teams? Lieutenant Bin Choi's reconnaissance group found something interesting yesterday. They're calling it Project Deep Strike, but they won't say. Moreover, open channels. Down in the ocean depths, Bin Choi and his mixed team of humans and Kethmori moved carefully through an underwater canyon. They had been exploring the deepest parts of the sea floor, looking for coalition weak points. What they found was much more important. Captain Kim, you need to see this. Bin's voice crackled through the communicator as his team's lights illuminated a massive crystal formation embedded in the ocean floor. The crystals were beautiful. They glowed with their own inner light and hummed with energy. But Bin's scanner readings made his heart race. Sir, these are quantum crystals, the pure kind. There must be thousands of tons here. In the command center, Taewoo felt his blood run cold. Quantum crystals were the most valuable substance in the galaxy. They powered faster-than-light engines and were essential for interstellar travel. A deposit this size was worth more than entire star systems. That's why they want this world, he whispered. It was never about the mining platforms or the surface resources. Reef singer Myra swam over to him, her skin patterns showing confusion. What are these quantum crystals? Are they important? Very important, Taewoo explained. They're what makes space travel possible. Without them, ships can't move between star systems. The Singing Stones, Mira said suddenly. My people always called them the Singing Stones. They make music in the deep currents. We thought they were just part of our world's soul. Your people have been sitting on the galaxy's most valuable treasure and didn't even know it, Taewoo said. No wonder the Coalition wanted you gone. And no wonder the Galactic Council let it happen. Within hours, the news had spread across the galaxy through secret communication channels. The truth about Aqua 7's real value shocked many species, who had believed the official story about primitive aquatic beings, who needed to be relocated for their own good. On the Coalition flagship Dominator, War Chief Drax received an urgent message from his government. The secret is out. His superior's voice was angry. End this operation immediately, before more species get involved. Sir, the humans have brought a full battle fleet. If we attack them, it could mean war with Earth. Better a war with one species than having the entire galaxy turn against us. Destroy the humans. Make it look like they fired first. But it was too late to contain the situation. Admiral Kong received a priority message from Communications Officer Namjoon Park. Ma'am, we're getting support offers from 17 different species. The Altarians are sending 3 battle cruisers. The Zentari Republic is offering medical ships for the Kethmori refugees. Even better news came from the Galactic Council itself. 3 member species had withdrawn their support for the Coalition's operation. 2 others were demanding a full investigation into who had authorized the displacement of an intelligent species to access valuable resources. The galaxy is watching now, Admiral Kang told her senior officers during their evening briefing. The Coalition can't just sweep this under the reef anymore. Captain Taewoo looked at the tactical display, showing friendly ships arriving from across known space. What had started as one small rescue mission had become the largest multi-species alliance in recent history. Admiral, he said, I think we might actually win this. Oh, we're going to win, Admiral Kong replied with a fierce smile. The question is how badly we're going to hurt them when we do. Outside the ship's windows, the first Altarian cruisers dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their hulls gleaming in the alien sunlight. The Coalition had wanted to take Aqua 7 quietly and make its people disappear. Instead, they had created the biggest interstellar incident in 50 years. War Chief Drax stared at his tactical screen as more and more enemy ships appeared. His simple conquest had become a nightmare, and tomorrow, the real fighting would begin. The morning sun rose over Aqua 7 as the largest space battle in recent history began. Admiral Myung Kong stood on the bridge of the Bison's Fury, watching dozens of ships from 7 different species arrange themselves for the final assault. Human vessels worked alongside Altarian cruisers, Zentari medical ships, and others who had come to help the Kethmori. All units, this is Admiral Kang, she spoke into the fleet communications. Today we're not just fighting for one world. We're fighting for the idea that the strong cannot simply take what they want from the weak. Captain Tae-woo Kim was already underwater in his modified submarine Deep Current, preparing to lead the ocean assault. Next to him swam Reefsinger, Myra in her living bioship that pulsed with natural light. Around them, hundreds of Kethmori warriors rode their own creatures, whale-like beings that had been trained for war. Human ships are diving into our oceans like they were born here, Myra said, wonder in her voice. Your people never stop surprising us. Engineer Jun Lee had spent weeks modifying human ships to fight underwater. Now they moved through the depths like metal fish, their hulls reinforced and their weapons adapted for aquatic combat. Coalition flagship is moving into attack position, reported pilot Daeho Yu from his scanner station. The Dominator is heading straight for us. War Chief Drax sat in his command chair, watching the approaching enemy fleet with growing worry. He had 37 ships, but the Alliance had over 60 vessels. Worse, his forces had never fought an underwater battle before. All ships, attack the human flagship, he ordered. If we destroy their leader, the others will scatter. The Coalition ships opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up space like deadly fireworks. But Admiral Kong had expected this. Her ships were already diving toward the planet's surface, using Aqua 7's atmosphere to shield them from the worst of the attack. Take us down, Ensign Yu, Tae-woo ordered. Time to show them how we fight. The underwater battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human submarines worked with Kethmori bioships to attack the Coalition's underwater mining bases. The enemy had built these bases to extract the valuable quantum crystals, but they had never expected to defend them from below. Lieutenant Bin Choi led a team of human marines in underwater combat suits, working alongside Kethmori warriors who moved through the water like living weapons. They planted explosive charges on the crystal mining equipment, while Coalition soldiers tried desperately to stop them. Platform after platform is going offline, reported Communications Officer Namjoon Park from the surface fleet. The underwater teams are destroying everything the Coalition built. But the real surprise came when the Kethmori revealed their secret weapon. The quantum crystals that the Coalition wanted so badly could be used for more than just space travel. Myra and her people had learned to channel the crystal's energy through their bioships, creating weapons that no one had imagined possible. Watch this, Myra said to Tae-woo, as her bioship began to glow brighter. Energy flowed from the crystal, formations on the sea floor, through living conduits that the Kethmori had grown over centuries. A beam of pure energy shot upward from the ocean, striking the Coalition flagship's shields. The Dominator shook as its defenses flickered and failed. Impossible, War Chief Drax roared. How are they doing this? His science officer's tentacles trembled as he read the data. Sir, they're using the planet itself as a weapon. The quantum crystals are amplifying their bioelectric abilities. More energy beams shot up from different parts of the ocean as other Kethmori bioships joined the attack. The Coalition fleet found itself being attacked from below by weapons they couldn't understand or counter. All ships, retreat to safe distance, Drax ordered. but it was too late. Admiral Kong's fleet had surrounded them during the confusion. This is Admiral Kong to the Coalition fleet? Her voice came across all frequencies. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated well. War Chief Drax looked at his tactical display. Half his ships were damaged or destroyed. The others were trapped between the human fleet above and the Kethmori weapons below. His government's simple mining operation had become a complete disaster. We had surrender, he said quietly. The battle was over, but the work was just beginning. Kethmori bioships began cleaning the poisoned water, using natural filters that engineer Jun Lee helped them enhance. Human medical teams worked with alien doctors to heal the survivors of months of toxic exposure. 3 days later, Admiral Kong and Reef Singer Mira stood together on a floating platform, watching children of both species play in water that was finally starting to clear. The Galactic Council wants to meet with us, reported Namjoon Park. They're offering full membership to humanity and guaranteed protection for Aqua 7. Tell them we accept, Admiral Kong said. But we come as equals, not as junior partners. And our first act will be creating the Depth Covenant, a treaty between Earth and Aqua 7 that says we'll always defend each other. Myra's skin patterns glowed with happiness. Our children will grow up in a galaxy where helping others matters more than taking what you want. As the alien sun set over the healing world, Taewoo watched human and Kethmori families celebrating together. Sometimes, doing the right thing was also the smart thing. And sometimes, the smallest choice could change everything.